When should you start thinking about beginning your board career? Generally speaking, this will occur and this will cross people's minds as they start to enter the senior ranks of the business, whether that be as an executive director or a senior leadership member. Typically, board members have had quite a lot of years, 5 to 10 years experience, managing P&L, managing risks, trying to grow businesses, commercialize businesses, deal with the operations of the business, deal with technology or HR or marketing issues, but they're operating at a very senior level where they're typically responsible for contributing to the strategic direction, the execution of the business strategy, dealing with the risks in the business. So as you start to come up through the corporate ranks, you start to take on more and more responsibility. This is a good time to start to think about your own brand, your personal career profile, your pathway, what the later years of your career might look like. In the early days, you might just consider, really building up that quality experience. And, some ways to do that internally is to look for opportunities to serve on steering committees, to join internal company boards, to, gain experience reporting to the board of directors, developing board papers, going to the boardroom, presenting to the board of directors to influence board decisions. These are all valid experiences that you will gain as you start to build up your credentials. In the early days, most people will consider serving potentially on an external board, and that might mean serving on a not-for-profit or serving on a small startup board, maybe as an advisory board member, or a small private enterprise, again as an advisory board member. Most important thing to keep in mind in the early days is to make sure there are no conflicts of interest. Really important, because most companies will have you on an employment contract that typically will say something along the lines of, you can't put yourself into a conflict with external engagements, and typically you will need to seek permission to serve on an external board. Most companies these days, though, are quite forward-thinking, and they will often give approval to serve on a not-for-profit board, and even more so we're seeing companies approve serving on an advisory board of an early stage, maybe innovative company. They can see that there's some benefit to you and your own personal career development, and also the benefits that it may relay back into the business. So, it's never too early to start, but just always get the fundamentals right. You need to be serving in the senior levels of the business. You need to be taking on more responsibility, and you need to start slow. And it's a big mistake. I see a lot of people now who come to me and they're trying to do a major C-suite role, and they're trying to hold multiple external board positions, and they think they can do more and more and more. And the reality is that those additional board seats don't actually add any real value to the overall board career pathway. So you might only need to serve on one external board to gain the benefit of that experience. So be careful that you're not pushing yourself too hard, that you're not trying to take on too much, because every board seat comes with its own set of potential issues, responsibilities, legal obligations, fiduciary responsibilities, and so you want to be really careful that you are just building slowly quality board experiences that are going to eventually create that pathway to maybe a board portfolio. So have a look at your peers, have a look at what your colleagues are doing, see if there's a precedent for serving on external boards, and when you feel the time is right, drop into my diary for a complimentary career assessment. We'll work out, is it the right time to be serving on an external board, and what does that board appointment look like to give you maximum results and impact to your overall career trajectory?